You're overreacting. I haven't replaced you yet. She said with a smirk after I saw her texting another guy. I didn't respond, just grabbed my keys and left. She called an hour later asking where I went. I said, giving you time to find your replacement without me in the way, and blocked her. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. There is a specific kind of silence that follows a 6-year relationship ending in a single sentence. It isn't the silence of peace, and it isn't the silence of grief. It's the silence of a structure collapsing so completely that there isn't even dust left to settle. My name is Leo. I'm a senior systems architect. My entire life is built on logic, redundancy, and ensuring that if one part of a system fails, the rest remains standing. I applied that same philosophy to my relationship with Clara. I thought I was building a fortress. It turns out I was just paying the mortgage on a house of cards. For 6 years, I was the provider. I don't say that to be traditionally arrogant. It's just the math of our lives. I earn in the top 5% of my field. Clara, on the other hand, spent the last 4 years curating her brand as a lifestyle consultant. In reality, that Mini paid for the $4,000 a month apartment downtown, the lease on her luxury SUV, her health insurance, and every single meal she posted to her 12,000 followers. I didn't mind. I loved her. Or rather, I loved the person I thought she was when we were 23, and sharing a studio apartment that smelled like cheap pizza and ambition. I remembered the nights I worked overtime at my first junior dev job, just so I could buy her the professional camera she needed for her vision. I remembered the $18,000 check I wrote for her mother's knee surgery 2 years ago. Money I didn't ask for back, even when her mother, Linda, treated me with the same casual disdain. Clara eventually adopted, but as I climbed the corporate ladder, Clara climbed a ladder of a different sort. One made of ego and external validation. The more I provided, the less she respected. It started with small comments at dinner parties with our friends. Leo is so consistent. She'd say, swirling a glass of wine I'd bought. He's like a reliable dishwasher. You know exactly what he's going to do every single day. It's a bit much for someone like me. I need fire. Our friends would laugh awkwardly. I would just smile, thinking it was her way of being playful. I ignored the red flags because I was too busy working 6 0-hour weeks to ensure she never had to experience a boring day in her life. The gym started it. She joined a high-end club again on my membership. And suddenly there was Marcus. Marcus was a personal trainer and wellness entrepreneur. He was 10 years younger than me, had a physique built on steroids and free time, and possessed the personality of a wet brick. But to Clara, he was exciting. I began noticing the changes. She'd be on her phone until 2:00 a.m., the blue light reflecting off her face as she giggled at messages. When I'd ask who it was, she'd snap, God, Leo, it's just Marcus. He's helping me with my macros. Not everything is a conspiracy. Your insecurity is honestly getting exhausting. I wasn't insecure. I was observant. I saw the way her phone was always face down. I saw the way she started buying lingerie that I never saw her wear. And then came the night that broke the system. It was a Tuesday. I had just finished a grueling sprint at work and came home around 8:00 p.m. hoping for a quiet dinner. Clara was on the sofa, her feet up, scrolling through her phone. She didn't even look up when I walked in. Dinner is in the fridge. She said coldly, it's kale salad. I'm doing a cleanse with Marcus. I was thinking we could go out. I said, setting my laptop bag down, I just closed a massive contract. I wanted to celebrate with you. She let out a long theatrical sigh. Celebrate. Leo, you close contracts every month. It's your job. It's not an event. Besides, Marcus is sending me some research on intermittent fasting, and I need to focus. At that moment, her phone buzzed. A message popped up on the screen, which was tilted just enough for me to see. It was a photo, a shirtless photo of Marcus in a locker room with the caption, thinking about our session today. Can't wait for the next one. Winking face. My heart did a slow, heavy thud. I walked over and stood in front of her. Clara, who is Marcus? Really, she finally looked up, her eyes narrowing. She didn't look guilty. She looked annoyed. I told you he's my trainer. Stop being a creep and hovering over me. He just sent you a shirtless photo talking about a session with a wink emoji. I said, my voice remarkably calm despite the fire starting in my chest. Are you sleeping with him? Clara didn't flinch. Instead, she leaned back. A smug, cruel smirk spreading across her face. She picked up her phone and started typing a response right in front of me. Leo, you're overreacting, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. I haven't replaced you yet. She actually laughed. A small sharp sound. I'm just exploring my options. A woman like me needs to know she's with the best. Right now, you're the stable choice. But Marcus, he's the exciting one. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? It's not like I've moved him in yet. The yet was the final structural failure. I looked at her and it was like a filter had been removed from my eyes. I didn't see the woman I'd spent 6 years protecting. I saw a parasitic, narcissistic stranger who thought my life and my heart were her playground. You haven't replaced me yet. I repeated, exactly. She said, turning her attention back to her phone. So just go eat your salad and calm down. You're being very boring right now. I didn't respond. I didn't yell. I didn't demand to see her phone. I simply turned around, walked into the bedroom, and grabbed my spare set of car keys and my go bag, the one I kept packed for last-minute business trips. I grabbed my passport, my personal laptop, and the folder of documents I kept in the safe. I walked back through the living room. Clara didn't even look up. She was too busy typing to her upgrade. I walked out the front door, got into my car, and drove to a hotel near my office. An hour later, my phone started blowing up. Clara, 9:15 p.m. Where did you go? I wanted to order Thai, and your card is getting declined. Did you do something to the account? Clara, 9:20 p.m. Leo, this isn't funny. I'm hungry, and I need to pay for my Uber. Pick up the phone. Finally, she called. I let it ring 3 times before answering. Where the hell are you? She demanded. She sounded more angry than worried. I tried to use the AMX for the food delivery and it didn't go through. You better not be playing games with the finances just because your feelings are hurt. I'm at a hotel. Clara, I said, my voice was cold. Professional. A hotel. Oh my God. You are such a drama queen. Come home right now. We can talk about your feelings if you're going to be this much of a baby about it. But fix the card first. I won't be coming home. I said, and I didn't do something to the card. I removed you as an authorized user. It's my account. Remember, one of those boring logistical things I handle. There was a silence on the other end. Then her voice sharpened. You can't do that. How am I supposed to live? I'm just giving you time to find your replacement without me in the way. I said, Leo, wait, goodbye. Clara. I hung up and blocked her number. I didn't wait for her to call back. I blocked her on everything. The system had crashed. The reboot was already beginning. I spent the next 48 hours in a state of hyper-focused clarity. As a systems architect, I knew that the only way to deal with a corrupted file was to delete it entirely. The apartment was the first order of business. I was the sole signer on the lease. I called the landlord and paid the early termination fee, and the remaining 3 months in full, I hired a white glove moving crew and paid them triple for a flash move. I met them at the apartment on Wednesday morning, knowing Clara would be at the gym with Marcus. Everywhere I looked, I saw my labor and her indulgence, the $6,000 Italian sofa. Mine, the 75 inches OLED TV. Mine, I watched as the movers dismantled our life in 3 hours. I left the master bed and I left her clothes. Everything else went into a climate-controlled storage unit. She didn't have the key to 9:0 p.m. The apartment was an echoing shell. I handed the keys to the locksmith who was finishing the final deadbolt. No one else has a key. I asked, just you and the landlord. Sir, I left a single item on the kitchen counter. A copy of the lease termination notice and a business card for the storage facility. Beside it, I left a check for $500. The exact amount of energy I felt, she needed to find a motel for a few nights. The Flying Monkeys began their assault around 6:00 p.m. Since I had blocked Clara, she recruited her mother, Linda. I answered one call to set the boundary. Leo, is that you? Linda's voice was high-pitched. Leo, what on earth is going on? Clara just called me screaming. She said she went home and the locks are changed. All the furniture is gone. Have you lost your mind? I've actually found it. Linda, I moved out. I terminated the lease. I'm no longer responsible for Clara's housing. You can't do that. She has nowhere to go. You owe her a roof over her head. I don't owe her anything. I said, Clara informed me that she was actively looking to replace me. She said Marcus was her exciting option and I was just the stable one. I've simply decided to remove this stable option from the table so she can fully commit to her exciting new life. The bank is closed. Linda, if she needs a place to stay, she can call Marcus. Goodbye. I hung up and blocked her. The next 3 months were a masterclass in the law of diminishing returns for Clara. I didn't have to seek out information. The social circles we moved in were small enough that the fallout reached me like ripples on a pond. Clara had moved into Marcus's bachelor pad, which was actually a one-bedroom apartment he shared with a roommate. The wellness entrepreneur didn't have a car. He didn't have a savings account. Marcus was a scavenger. He had targeted Clara because she looked like a high net worth individual. When he realized she was just a subsidized passenger on my boring train, his interest evaporated. Meanwhile, I was leaning into the boring life. I took a VP position in a new city 2 hours away. I bought a penthouse with a view of the river. All glass, still, and silence. I worked. I hiked. I went to the theater alone. I learned to enjoy the sound of my own thoughts without the background noise of someone else's constant dissatisfaction. The messages started again after Marcus inevitably cheated on her. Clara started using burner apps. Burner message. Anaist Petinštiri Deset Per M Leo. Please. Marcus hit me. Not hard, but he pushed me. He's crazy. I'm at a motel kursi. I know I said those things, but I was just trying to get a reaction out of you. Doesn't 6 years mean anything? Burn a message. Dua Lima Blas A. M. I saw your LinkedIn. You're a VP now. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. Can we just talk? I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. Just don't leave me like this. I read them while sitting on my balcony. A glass of 8-year-old scotch in my hand. I felt zero urge to rescue her. If a building is designated for demolition because of a faulty foundation, you don't run back inside when the walls start to crack. The final siege happened through her brother, Dave. Leo. She's a mess. Men, Dave told me over the phone. She's asking if you'd consider a settlement. She says, you owe her a fresh start because you stole her best years. I actually chuckled. Dave, she was the one who said I was replaceable. Tell her she should have held on to the stable choice while she had the chance. The charity is over. 6 months later, I wasn't just surviving. I was flourishing. I had a new home, a new routine, and most importantly, a new partner. Ava was a civil engineer. Sharp, grounded, and possessed a dry wit that made my boring logic feel like a shared language. The City Architecture Awards Gala was the biggest night of the year. I was a keynote speaker. I was standing near the mezzanine railing, and Ava stood beside me looking stunning in a deep emerald dress. You're thinking about the load-bearing capacity of the floor, aren't you? She whispered. I laughed. Actually, I was thinking about how much I like this scotch. That's when I saw her. Clara was standing near the entrance, looking wildly out of place. She was wearing a dress. I recognized a gold sequin number. I'd bought her for her birthday 3 years ago. It was missing beads. She looked hollowed out and frantic. She spotted me and began weaving through the crowd. The ex-Ava asked, "The ghost?" I corrected, "Stay close." Clara reached the mezzanine, breathless. She ignored Ava entirely. "Leo." She gasped. I didn't think you'd be here. You look incredible. I saw you on the stage. I was so proud. I told everyone, that's my Leo. It's just Leo now. Clara. And I'm here because I work here. Why are you here? I'm just trying to get back into the scene. It's been so hard. Leo. I think about that Tuesday every single day. I was so stupid. I was just scared of how much I loved you. So I tried to push you away. You didn't push me away. Clara, you told me you were looking for my replacement. I was joking. She cried, her voice rising. It was a cry for attention. You were so busy with work, and I just wanted to see if you still cared. And you did. That proves we have something worth saving. Clara, this is Ava, my fiance. The word fiance hit her like a physical blow. She actually recoiled. Fiance? It's been a year. Leo, you're engaged already. You really did replace me, didn't you? You just traded me in for a newer model. I didn't replace you. Clara, I said, leaning in slightly, you can't replace something that was never truly there. You are a projection. Ava isn't a new model. She's a partner. We're building something that doesn't require one person to do all the work while the other looks for a better option. Clara's face shifted. The vulnerability vanished. Replaced by the snarling entitlement, I remembered, you think you're so much better than me. Don't you, she hissed. Standing here with your awards and your partner, you're still the same boring guy. Leo, without me, you'd still be sitting in that suburban house staring at blueprints. I gave you flavor. People were watching a train wreck. Clara, I just stopped being the tracks. You'll regret this. She said, tears of rage now streaming down her face. When she gets bored of your spreadsheets, you'll come crawling back to the only woman who ever truly challenged you. I haven't even begun to show you what I can do. I took a final sip of my scotch and handed the empty glass to a passing waiter. I looked at Clara and I realized I felt nothing. Actually, Clara, I said, a small, calm smile touching my lips. I think you're overreacting. I haven't fully moved on from the memory of us yet. She blinked, hope flared in her eyes for a split second. But I continued. I expect to be completely finished with that. By the time I finish this sentence, it's done. You're officially a legacy system. Clara, unsupported, outdated, and completely removed from the current build. She stood there, her mouth open. The gold sequins on her dress, catching the light in a way that looked cheap and desperate. Leo, please, goodbye. Clara, enjoy the fire. I'll keep the peace. I turned my back on her. I didn't wait to see if she cried or was escorted out. I took Ava's hand and walked toward the ballroom. As we reached the doors, the announcer's voice boomed over the speakers. And the award for urban innovation goes to Leo Vance. I walked onto that stage to a standing ovation. I looked out at the crowd and I didn't see her. She had vanished into the shadows at the back of the room, a ghost in a gold dress that no longer fit. Final update. That was 3 months ago. Clara tried one last. Hail Mary. She sent a 2-0-page handwritten letter to my office. I didn't read past the first page. I shredded it. Logic dictates that you don't keep trash in the office. I heard from Dave that she's working as a receptionist at a car dealership. Marcus is currently in jail. My life is incredibly boring. I wake up at 6:00 a.m. I have coffee with my wife-to-be. Some people think predictable is a dirty word, but when you've built a life that's this solid, predictability feels a lot like freedom. The system is stable. The foundation is deep. And the view from the top is exactly what I planned it to be. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story?